one of the things that we talk about here is in the oil and gas industry, for example. When it's in ground, we know how to take it and get it so that there's a value. We know how to do refineries. But in turn, I thought this was interesting, and this is just my personality. I looked at the Forbes list, for example. Have you ever seen that when it comes out in the news and you see the Forbes wealthiest people in the world?
Yes.
And you look at that and you go, there's a man named Bill Gates. Well, did he get his wealth from selling software, or did he get it from the stock? He got it from the stock. I don't know if any of you have a Facebook account. Have you ever had a Facebook account? All right. Now, there's a young man that started that. He turned 27 last May, and he took it public. The value of that, the total revenue of Facebook last year was just over $3 billion. The net income was $1 billion. Yet, on May of last year, he was bankable, personally, $27 billion. Do you understand what I'm saying?
No.
He knew how to utilize a concept, knew how to work with the banking, and in turn, there's tremendous resources, and we can fund the transportation, the hospitals, and the... You're rich, we just have to know how to utilize it. And you know how to speak the language. I've traveled to China, and I know that I've tried to do business in China, and if I couldn't speak Mandarin Chinese, it was difficult. I'd smile and nod, but I learned to speak a little bit. But we've got to learn to communicate. And each area, whether it's housing, whether it's water, whatever the system is, you've got to learn to communicate to that language, and so it is in the funding. And we know how to do that. It becomes an economic solution. And so I just point that out because this is an example. It's been done. It's not theory. And Middle East Oil is a company that's growing. It works, for example, with a company here that's called Geodynamics, and there's seismic capabilities where we can identify assets and we can actually monitor these assets through the satellite in Italy, and we can know daily what the production or whatever the depletion might be. So we know how to monitor it, and we know what to do. And that's an example, for example, of a 3D seismic that we use from quiet seismic. I won't go into it, but it's a way where the earth moves naturally, and we can identify assets. When we identify them, we know how to make it so the country can be wealthy, or whatever the state, or whatever the government or entity or community may be. And that's just an example, because one of the last things on the program was the economic, what do you do to go forward? And it mentions the economic solutions. And in turn, I wanted to mention two other things associated with that, and then end with a short video. But we have done it around the world, and the capability is there, and it also includes cleaning the environment. And so, I wanted to say this, tourism, for example. People, look at the capability of tourism. There's an opportunity to do some development and growth in Nigeria. And we can implement that, and that creates another industry. It's a large industry. I would even propose in that side that you could go forward and create a new airlines. And it'd be Oduduwa Airlines. You get the licensing and you have a way of doing that, and you have a special national airline. And create an opportunity. We know how to do it, and it can be done.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
I wanted to end with one last thing, and it's, do you still have the, do you know that internet page? Do you have the internet on that page, or did you close it? It was just a short video, because one of the things that we've learned also is that it's not, as you talk vast and large, but it comes down to the individual. And
years ago, John Reardon and I were working together in Kampala, and one of the things we were really struck by is the number of young men who were unemployed, who were about 16 and didn't have the money to continue on in school. And they were just sort of without direction. And so we met a couple of them and questioned them about what they would like to be involved in. And they said they would like a soccer team. About what they would like to be involved in, and they said they would like a soccer team. So we began a soccer team with those few boys.
Do you see what? He was not famous, but he affected the lives of maybe a few hundred, who then affect the lives of communities, who then affect the lives of the country. It begins with you, and the dreams are possible. He says it's up to you in your mind. And so the things we talk about, well, you can make a difference, and we can do things that are incredible. And it's a good opportunity and a good time to go forward. So with that, I'll turn the time back over to Dr. Leo. Where is he? You're on. I just introduced you. And so, but since you're coming up, how did you feel? Can you see the difference that it makes? It's not just economics. It's not just that. You can touch the lives of individuals. Do you agree with me on that? All right. Dr. Leo.
In a situation like this, I already really know what language to speak. I felt very much at home and comfortable with my people, so much that I would have preferred to speak Yoruba. But then, I think about our friends, our well-wishers, who are here with us today, who will not understand if I speak my language. I think I will, in the Yoruba tradition, I think I will apologize to my people, seeking their permission to allow me to speak English. Since the Yoruba tradition gives a lot of respect and honor to guests. So, in this case, I'll speak in Yoruba today so that I can be allowed to speak in English. Very good.